With hit songs comes impact that define an era and sometimes even pop culture during their release, complete with a music video. But just like some things, there's no guarantee that a song will resonate with a lot of people or reach the heights of past hits. This could be due to factors such as the song being released at a wrong time, lack of promotion, or simply not connecting with the audience. And for a while now, I've been listening to past singles that I remember loving, but they didn't quite achieve the impact that I thought they would, so I thought I'd make a video about it. Today I'll be talking about singles that I think should have been bigger hits. Fast Times by Sabrina Carpenter. The second single off Sabrina's album Emails I Can't Send, released in 2022 with a great production. I love the instrumental break that it comes in before going into one more chorus. It's fun, it feels like a song I would blast in my car, which I have, and as someone said on Twitter, I do agree it should have been her espresso. But then I think if it wasn't for Nonsense, a song that was her mainstream breakthrough that led to Feather, another amazing pop song which brought us to Espresso, things may have not played out the way they did. So I can't say I'm mad at how things turned out because Sabrina does deserve her 10s. I just think that this song was just left behind and I think it should have been a bigger hit. Physical by Dua Lipa, a pop masterpiece that not only is great lyrically and production wise, but even in the video, the creativity with the use of color and camera movements and also her delivery in the song altogether just makes it a masterpiece. And it felt like it brought back what I missed about the early 2010s. And to this day, it still surprises me how this peaked at number 60 on the US Billboard Hot 100 charts despite it getting lots of success outside of the US. And although I do like Levitating, I think Physical should have gotten the success that Levitating had in the US. Solo by Clean Bandit featuring Demi Lovato. The video has over 1 billion views and was a smash hit outside of the US. It peaked at number 58 on the US Billboard Hot 100 charts, but I'll say this, at least it did chart, unlike Symphony featuring Zara Larsson that didn't chart on the US Billboard Hot 100 charts, which does surprise me because it's another song with over 1 billion views on YouTube, yet for some reason it didn't reach the US audience. And I did check, it did chart on the US dance club charts. But for a song like this that's well known, you would think that it would have gotten more reach, at least here in the US. But I think it just shows that some songs just resonate better in other countries while some songs just do not. Harleys in Hawaii by Katy Perry. An underrated summer feel song that has a different sound for Katy, almost like going back to her One of the Boys era, but feels more relaxed and more mature, with a pop sound infused with a guitar. And as you listen, you'll find yourself enjoying the summer weather even if it's not summer. The track also has a great Katy high note moment in the bridge, and I think if it would have received the right amount of TV performances, it would have gained more success and been on people's radar. And while this song did have a resurgence because of it going viral on TikTok, but I just felt like this song could have been bigger. New Romantics by Taylor Swift. So in 1989, a commercial successful album with many hits including Shake It Off, Blank Space, Wildest Dreams and Bad Blood. This was a deluxe track that I always felt could have been on the standard album. Because of how good everything about this song is, it's got a great energetic production, the build up to the chorus is just nicely done, it's the kind of song that you'll want to sing out loud by yourself or even around friends. But I can understand why this wasn't as big by the time that this got released as a single on February 2016. So to me, when I look back at this, I think this single release was just a thank you to fans and everyone who supported the album. And this was Taylor's way of celebrating 1989 and saying goodbye to the era as she was moving forward in her life. Maybe if the song was released sooner as a single, it would have been much bigger. And although I do like Shake It Off, I think New Romantics would have made a fantastic first single. Not to say that I would change anything about how the rollout went for this album because it was perfect, the singles and everything. I just think that if New Romantics was released a lot sooner, and if I had to change anything to fit in New Romantics to get it released sooner, I think as a first single it would have made sense and it would have been a bigger hit with the general public. Mother's Daughter by Miley Cyrus. So to this day I still love this song, her confidence in it, the message behind it, and of course this would have led to an album that she was gonna release at the time called She Is Miley Cyrus, which if you're interested to hear more about that story, I did do a deep dive on it which you can watch right here. Like, it did resonate, but I think it didn't resonate enough. I always felt that this single was underrated next to, what was the other song, Slide Away. I think that was the name of the song. That was another great song. This is one of her singles that I feel should have been a lot bigger. The Story of Us by Taylor Swift. I love the imagery I get when I listen to this song. Even though we know Taylor's great at storytelling with her songs, I think this is one where it's literally like a story, because she even says next chapter or the end, like towards the end of the song. So I love those like little details that she adds. The reason why I think this song didn't do as well is because I think by now, just like with 1989, by the time this single came out, I think the general public just wasn't connecting with it as much anymore. So I can understand that. Of course, that's just what I think. She even released the last single off this album was called Hours. It was a deluxe track. And I don't think many people really know that Hours was a single either. And I think again, it's because people already weren't resonating with it as much compared to like the beginning of the album cycle. And I think Sparks Fly was also released as a single, which is another great song that I think would have been a lot bigger. Hit the Lights by Selena Gomez and The Scene. A song that I think could have been a lot bigger. They would have released it sooner, when I think they should have just waited till like maybe September or October, because Love You Like a Love Song was released on June 12, 2011. I guess they didn't really want to ruin it and just put in another single because of the success that that song was getting. So that's what I think happened. And also she was still signed to Hollywood Records at this time, and we know that Hollywood Records isn't really the best record label. When you think about it, I guess this was a good song to end it with, like a farewell to her, you know, being in a band and her just stepping into her own and just being a solo artist. So I guess it was a good farewell as well. Kiss It Better by Rihanna. Sonically, it's perfection. I love her vocals, and the electric guitar is a nice add to the song, and for some reason it didn't resonate as much compared to her other singles from the album. Personally for me, besides Never Ending, this was another song that instantly got my attention and only got better with each listen. And if she would have released this today, I would not have noticed that this was from 2016. 911 by Lady Gaga, and I think a lot of it had to do with COVID and her not being able to perform it as much as she probably wanted to, just getting in the way of all these big plans that she had for the album. It's not one that I can really think like, oh, if she would have done this or she would have done that. I feel like she just worked with what she had, and I think she did it great. I mean, she did perform it at the VMAs. I do think it's an underrated single, but I can understand why things didn't work out the way they did. Love So Soft by Kelly Clarkson. To me, this song sounds timeless with a great mix of modern and a throwback sound with a creative music video. I love how she sings the part of Kostya, like she adds like a higher note towards the end, and can't forget the highlight of the song at the end of the bridge where she belts out a whistle note. It's a great song, and as good as it is, I think it should have been a bigger hit. River by Miley Cyrus. To me, this song, just like Physical by Dua Lipa, brings back the fun pop music that early 2010s had, where you felt like you were in this fantasy of being a pop star or even being in a club living your best life. And honestly, I wasn't sure what to expect when I first heard River, because after I heard it, it gave me that feeling when you discover a new favorite song and you just want to hear it again. And I guess from that feeling, I thought this was gonna be a big hit. Maybe not as big as Flowers, but it was gonna get people's attention. I don't know, it was very strange because when this song came out, everybody was talking about it, but then after a while, it just kind of disappeared, and I don't really hear that many people talk about it. And I feel like that's just what happened overall with Endless Summer Vacation. And I think one of the reasons why this happened was probably because of the success of Flowers and it overshadowing the next two singles that followed. Tell Me It's Over by Avril Lavigne, a song where Avril tried a different sound, which I like to say it's her Love on the Brain moment, since both of those songs were inspired sonically by the 1950s, which I think worked really well with her voice. And though she did go in this direction, she also added her own style during the bridge as it goes into a piano pop modern production. It's also got a great build up to the chorus, and overall it's such a great song. Maybe it just didn't connect with her fans or people enough since it was a different sound for her, but for me personally, I just find it to be one of her most underrated singles. XO by Beyonce. So I didn't know about this, but this was actually her first single off her self-titled album that was released in 2013, and all this time I just assumed that Drunk in Love was her first single. Of course, this was a visual album, so every song had a music video, and I guess I just never really thought of what were the singles, and I just took that one to be the first single, since that was really the first single I remember hearing on radio. I never knew that XO was even a single. To me, this song just sounds fantastic. I love her vocals on here. It instantly transports me to another place, and I think that's one of the other things I really liked about this song. Not only how her voice sounds and just the production and everything, but just the way it's able to kind of take you somewhere else that just feels freeing. Yeah, that's probably the best way to say it. It feels like freeing and liberating. I do think it's one of her underrated singles. It just feels like with time this song kind of got left behind, and I mean, I understand that because she's released other amazing albums like Lemonade. Of course, with time you're gonna find new favorites, you know, you're gonna have new favorites and then you're gonna have old favorites, but I just feel like this is one of the songs that doesn't really get mentioned that much. And a few other songs I wanted to add here is Runaway With Me by Carly Rae Jepsen, Sledgehammer by Fifth Harmony, Homemade Dynamite by Lorde, and any singles released by Little Mix that also should have been a big hit here in the US. So that's the end of my list of singles that I feel should have been bigger. So what is a single that one of your favorite artists released that you feel should have been a bigger hit? And what do you think happened that made it not become a bigger hit? You can share down below in the comments. If you are interested, I did do a video about the rise and fall of Pop Girl mobile gaming, which you can watch right here. And I also did a video about hit songs that had 2 music videos, which you can watch right here as well. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.